morning, or good evening to wherever this finds you. Welcome to the FunHawg Pod with your hosts, Matt Cook and Butch Mayhew. Let's let that fun ensue. Go for it.
Welcome to the FunHawg Podcast. My name is Matt Cook. I'm here with my co-host Butch, and we've got a special guest today, Beth Wolfe. Beth, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited to be on your podcast. I've listened to a couple episodes. They're really fun.
Oh, good. Have you ever been on a podcast before, or is this your world debut?
I wish I could say it was my world debut. It is my FunHawg debut. I've been on one other podcast that just beat you out. Like, it literally was released last month.
Oh man, what was the topic there?
It's recruiting stuff, So.
But go ahead and you can shamelessly plug it here.
I mean, it's not my podcast. I was just a guest, but it's called Higher Quality. Get it? Like higher quality, like playing there.
Nice.
You get it. So I was just like a guest on someone else's podcast.
And if you are listening, since we're down to business, if you are looking for a role at Axco, reach out to Miss Beth Wolfe. She will find you a position if there's one open.
And you're good. You gotta be good.
And you're good. Yeah, you gotta be good, right?
No, I know.
That's awesome. Well, you'll have to tell us at the end of the episode. We aspire for this to be the best podcast you've ever appeared on. Not to throw any shade towards higher quality or
of course
friends.
we're throwing shade, man.
I can already tell it's probably going to be more fun. We're not talking so much work stuff. It's going to be good.
Yeah, the work stuff's done.
I mean, we've already done that today. And y'all are catching me as I'm about to head out on PTO. So, it's already been my Friday today. So,
Wonderful.
We're good.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I think Wolf is just an awesome last name. Do you feel like it intimidates people with less fierce last names? Perhaps with last names like Prepare Food or something like that?
No. Like Cook. Well, my maiden name is Marks, so that's not super cool. I don't know, and it wasn't even Marks with an X. I don't know, something about the X feels cooler than the KS. But I did like marrying into Wolf. It felt kind of badass.
Yeah, I love it. Have you met any other really, really strongly named people? I mean, there's not many tigers out there. Bear.
So there's sometimes I've seen a bear in a weird spelling of the word bear,
Yeah.
But no, I haven't really met any coyotes either. So, I don't know.
I will say this is a name story, but goes back to my first day at Daxco. Or I guess this was starting at Daxco. Jason Benton, my former boss, sent out an email to the engineering team welcoming Butch Mayhem. And everyone's like,
That's cool.
Mayhem, this is amazing. And so I had to come in and be like, well,
oh my.
call me that, but it's really Mayhew. And I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
That would have been pretty cool, though. Actually,
I think you should have just ridden with it. I mean, that would have been an incredible legacy. You just changed your name.
I mean, I already changed my first name. You want to change the last name?
Oh man, that would have been great. Yeah, you should have done it. Missed opportunity there. If it ever happens again, you gotta ride it out.
Just roll with it. Got it. Done and done.
Awesome.
All right, let's talk about FunHawg moments.
Yeah.
Matt, you want to go first?
No, I want to go last, actually. I would like to go last. So, Beth, how about you? Do you know what a FunHawg moment is?
I actually do because I've listened to the podcast.
I
right?
mean, lots of people do. So,
it's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Maybe before your moment, how would you define FunHawg in your own words?
Oh, it's just cool stuff something cool you've done in the last week or two, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
I dig it.
Yeah, my FunHawg moment would be, I guess a week and a half ago, I went to a concert with my daughter. So you all know I have an adult daughter who is now 26. Y'all.
Whoa. That's crazy.
So she actually, like this time last year almost, it's been almost a year ago, bought us tickets to go see Olivia Rodrigo, which is kind of a teeny bopper, a little bit of, an artist, but we still had the best time because it was just her and I. We drove over to Atlanta. We stayed the night in a hotel there and had, very girly, it wasn't even a weekend because it was the middle of the week, but had a fun Tuesday, I think, Wednesday night, and sang songs and, wore silly outfits and crazy makeup and, we're very girly. And,
I'm glad there were silly outfits. I was going to ask that.
Oh, of course there were. You can't, concert go and not have something ridiculous on, right?
That's right. At least for that kind of concert.
Exactly. So I was not quite prepared for the shrill that is, young girl screams. I don't know. I feel like, I'm a Gen X myself, and we're more of a wooer, we're woo, woo. And the Gen Zs scream like horror movies. I don't know. It was ear piercing. I felt like a dog. I wanted to be oh my gosh, I need earplugs. I'm old. So, but it was fun. It was really fun.
That's awesome. So I've got all boys, and if for anybody who's just listening, I'm not a teenage girl. So Olivia Rodrigo does not hit she's not on my Spotify. What's her most famous song? Her
most famous song hit a year or two ago was that Driver's License song. If you know that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was her big breakout song.
Okay.
On my driver's license last week, that song.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were there any fun openers? Sometimes you go to concerts and the openers are pretty surprising.
We have no idea because we did not see any opener. By the time we got there, we stood in the merch line for forever, bought my daughter a shirt, the whole thing. And by the time we got in there, it was ready to go. So we missed the opener.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great FunHawg moment, though. Yeah, love it. Butch, how about you?
My FunHawg moment is more of a summer FunHawg project. That's what we're going to call it. It was more than a moment, but I haven't showed this off yet, but this right here was the summer project. For those that are audio only, we have a Converse shoebox that has a key off-on switch with some arcade buttons on top, and inside there's a mess of wires and all sorts of fun stuff in there. But this is our soundboard that we created.
Oh my
and it was pretty fun. I try to do some kind of geeky electronic project with my family over the summer, and this year the girls, they said this is what they wanted, so we built a sound box. I am really bad at soldering. That's what I learned. I soldered a little bit, and it does work, but the battery is dead. It's a FunHawg fail here, but that's kind of where we are. But it was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll link a video. I'll post something up on the FunHawg YouTube. You can go check it out. But
what sounds were in there? I gotta know.
So it was pretty fun. The girls, they play educational games in their browsers, and there was a couple sounds in these educational games that they're playing that they're like, Dad, I really want this. So I got to use my nerdery to go find out how to download a song from a playing web browser, almost like a Flash game, but not Flash. So I solved some of those problems, and then I've got a hosted soundboard out there that they also pick some stuff from that, maybe we'll link that out there, but there's some fun sounds. Their favorite is I forget the person, but it's the Friday song. It's Friday. Yeah, that one. Yeah, there you go. Yes. So we had that going. We'll probably get copyright denied, whatever, when this thing hits the YouTube algorithms.
I think that was far enough off this original sound that I don't think it's going to create a conflict.
So we had that. Never Gonna Give You Up. We have that going in there, and just some fun things that are out there. So, but the girls chose 80% of the sounds. I still chose a few. So
got some in there.
That's awesome. How long did it take to build that?
I would say 4 to 5 hours when it comes down to it. I mean, it's about an hour to pick out songs, an hour to kind of put it together, and then, or an hour to kind of put the holes in and, get the arcade buttons, and then maybe another hour to crimp all the cables. I probably spent another like 2 hours soldering the board because, it came with like pins that I had to solder together. And I'm kind of faking it a little bit because it's just like pushed into a breadboard with like, little pin things. But in my brain, I know how it works, and it is a little fragile, right? If you throw that thing across the room, like, it's not going to work. So,
why would you throw a shoebox across the room?
I mean, we got little kids, you drop something, you kick it across the floor, you knock it off the table. It's fragile, but it's working at the moment when it's charged.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Was this like a template you followed to build this out, or is it a lot of...
So the website is Adafruit, and they sell a bunch of like electronic parts, and they have like 4 or 5 different templates, but I really just, found the components I wanted, and those components had instructions, so I read the docs is what it comes down to. So
hey, sometimes you just got to read the manual. That's impressive. Right. Yeah.
So fun times. Again, really bad at soldering. I don't plan to make a career out of it, but it was a lot of fun.
You're gonna like bust out like a Lego set that you built in there, and this is just like a million times cooler.
This is definitely the nerdiest podcast, the nerdiest episode we've ever had, Beth. So I don't know how you ended up on this one.
So far.
I nerd out. It's
yeah.
fun.
I remember a long time ago, you and I having a conversation about Java and JavaScript in the recruiting world, and how that just drove me crazy. How recruiters say, "Oh, great, Java. We use JavaScript," and it's like, no, those aren't the same things.
I literally just had a conversation with like one of my recruiters today about like all the sequels, my sequel. It's like they're all different. It's not like, oh, sequels, so MySQL. No, not necessarily.
But they're kind of the same.
Kind of, but not the same. But
way different from Java and JavaScript.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
So I've also got a pretty nerdy FunHawg moment. So we in our family we play this card game called Strat, and it's pretty simple. Each person gets an entire suit of cards, so kind of ace to king. So ace is low in this one, and then one of the suits is left over on in the middle. So that one's randomly shuffled and is flipped over. So let's say the 8 is flipped over. Each of us would be bidding on it, and so we place our bid value, and then you win however many points are in the middle. So we started playing that, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, and I decided to build it. So I was, as a former CTO, you actually don't get to write much code when you're in that chief technology officer role. And so I actually kind of really miss writing code. So Ruby on Rails was as a language I've just always had a strong affinity for. And there's been some cool new enhancements to that. And so I wanted to build it out. So yeah, I launched it about 2 weeks ago, I would say. It's primarily for my kids. Like, my kids love it. But tonight we played our 1,000th game. So it's at least fun enough for my kids to play 1,000 times.
a 1,000th game digitally, not just like...
Yeah. That's impressive.
Physically.
Yeah. So
that's really cool.
I think Curtis, my middle son, he's played the most by far. I think he's played over 500 of them. So... we may have a little screen time problem in the Cook household, but school's starting up here pretty soon, and we'll move on. But yeah, that's been a pretty fun addition.
So is this game that is digitalized out in the world for anyone to go play?
It is wide open.
Are we going to drop the URL to all of our 8 followers?
Yeah, all 8. Yeah, please don't log on at the same time. You may break the server. But so it's at strat.chaselovefun.com. So Chase Love Fun is my family motto, and I kind of built this whole kind of personal thing around it. So I actually don't even have the primary domain up yet, so I still need to get around to doing that. But Yeah, I mean that's it. Like built it for my kids, and they've been having fun with it. And I tell you, kids are so clever. So one of the things you can do in it is you can change your username, right? So whatever your name is on the thing, and they literally turned it into a chat app. So my two younger boys, they don't have phones or anything. And so, but they literally would just change their username hundreds of times throughout the day and just send each other messages because they could see each other's usernames. So,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, kids are incredible.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's awesome.
Well, word of the week is brunch. And that's what we came here to talk about. Let's talk about brunch.
When was the last time you had brunch? Beth, we'll go with you.
It was pretty recent. Like I'm a bruncher.
You're a bruncher.
I'm a bruncher, and I love a brunch.
Would you consider yourself a brunchaholic?
If I could be, like if nobody held me back, yes. Like I would have a problem. And it's funny because my husband Michael is always like, he's much more regimented as far as like meal times. I'm kind of like loosey-goosey, just kind of like whatever I happen to feel hungry is like when I want to eat. And sometimes I don't feel hungry first thing, but I still want to have breakfast. But now it's like 10:30, 11, and I'm like, it's brunch time.
I love it. I wish I had brunch more regularly, right? Like, I mean, just a nice brunch. Like, what's your go-to brunch meal?
So I kind of flip-flop because some days like you want savory, some days you want sweet, right? And so like if I want savory, I'm an omelet girl. Give me an omelet. I love an omelet. So
what are the top toppings in an omelet?
I flip-flop between like, pretty simple ham and cheese omelets. Good if you just want to go like standard.
Like Canadian bacon?
Canadian bacon, essentially, yes.
Okay.
But I also like I like bacon in an omelet. That's good if you do a little bit of everything. I do like there's one at Ruby Sunshine that's so good. It's like goat cheese and spinach. You put goat cheese on anything, and I'm like, yes, okay.
So you probably eat avocado toast too, right?
I do like avocado toast.
Yeah, okay. That's what I think.
It checks out.
I think brunch is pretty bougie, right? Like, I mean,
but I'm not a big drinker, so like I know a lot of people want to go to brunch and have like the mimosas or like what's the tomato one?
Bloody Mary.
Mary. I'm like, it's funny because I get alcohol most of the time. I'm like, can you like make it like a little less strong and like a little less strong? And then they'll just be like, do you just want the juice? I'm like, yeah, just the juice. Basically, yes. So, but then if I go the other route, if I'm going sweet, I'm probably either going to go like a waffle or like French toast, usually for brunch. I do like pancakes though. So my daughter and I, when we were at that concert on the way back, we talk about bougie. We kind of accidentally went to this bougie place in like the Lenox neighborhood in Atlanta, which is bougie.
That's fancy.
It's fancy. So on our way to our hotel, like driving in, we saw this restaurant. It's called Toast. And we saw it going in. And so when I was leaving the hotel, I just put Toast into my GPS, but it took me to a different location, the like bougier one in Lenox. And okay, y'all, it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday during the week. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're rolling up in there. We got like leggings and, like athleisure on, right? We're just whatever, pretty basic. Walking in there, and the guy at the like stand, he's like, "Do you have a reservation?"
What?
It's a Wednesday.
Did you say yes?
I didn't know. And he was like, "Well, we have room at the bar, or you can eat outside." I guess we'll eat outside. But I'll tell you what. Hands down, the best pancakes I've ever had in my life. And I know that's a step out. Like, I know that's a big statement. Because, man, Cracker Barrel's got some good pancakes. That crispy egg. But they had, what did they have in them? Which sounded weird, but it was so good. They had ricotta cheese in it, which kind of made it taste a little like cheesecakey or something. I don't know. It was bomb diggity.
Ricotta cheese. I don't know about that. Like cream cheese.
Weird.
I can get behind that.
It is so good. It was so good. And then my daughter got these like she got French toast, and it was it had Fruity Pebbles. It was Fruity Pebbles, like crusted, I don't know, French toast. So
I mean, I can get behind Fruity Pebbles.
Sugar high, but it was amazing. I would go back for the pancakes alone, and I'd deal with the bougie people. And I'd be like, I do have a reservation this time. I'd call ahead. So
that's a great brunch story. I mean, that's gonna be tough to top. Butch, when was the last time you had brunch?
Last time I had brunch was about 6 hours ago, or 8 hours ago at this point. So
6 hours ago is 3 o'clock.
yeah, 8 hours. It was around 1. Yeah. So Lucas, my oldest, he decided, hey, I'm going to cook pancakes for Dad.
There you go.
He cooked pancakes and grits, and I was like, well, we got pancakes and grits.
What are we
Let's
missing?
cook some bacon.
There you go.
So put some bacon in the oven. I got I pulled out the spare pack from the bottom of the drawer and got that going. And we had a fantastic breakfast. I made a little coffee, and I said breakfast. It wasn't breakfast. It was brunch. Well, so I know that's probably arguable, right? My definition of brunch, this is the way I was raised, is anything after 10:30 where you're still eating breakfast food.
Yeah.
But when I read online people about brunch, I think there's a brunch culture that might frown on that definition.
What's wrong with it? Is it too people want to shift it earlier or later, or what?
I think it's a little later and a very specific. You got to have your alcohol with it. You got to have like these fancy things. I'm just telling you what I'm consuming from the internet. But that's not how we grew up in the Mayhew house. It was anything after 10ish where you're making pancakes or making some kind of breakfast food. It's brunch. And maybe it's Brenner. I don't know. Is that a thing? When you eat breakfast for dinner?
I love breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
Can we call it Brenner? Is that okay?
I like Brenner.
We don't call it Brenner, but so we've got a Friday night rotation. So Abigail likes to, I don't know, just cook the same things, and which we all love. So it's great. So breakfast for dinner is in our Friday night rotation. So we've got it's a funny rotation. We got fillets one Friday night, and then we do
your house
breakfast for dinner, and then we do tostadas is in the Friday night rotation, and then we have pizza rolls. So, but breakfast for dinner, I mean that's a crowd pleaser every time. Get a little breakfast casserole, scrambled eggs, hash browns. It's the good stuff.
Breakfast casserole. Can we all agree that it tastes better the second day?
100%.
It's so good. It's so good.
The first day is good.
Like my hands down the best like breakfast casserole I've ever made, and that people like rave over and they like freak out and they're like, "What is this? It's so good." I got this recipe when my daughter, who I just told you is 26, when she was in kindergarten, she brought home a Nickelodeon magazine. This recipe in it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks good," and I made it, and like the whole family freaked out about it, and so now it's like my go-to whenever I bring like brunch.
That's what you're known for.
And people are like, "That casserole, it's so good," and I'm like, "Nickelodeon for the win."
I'm gonna need this recipe.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Is it
terrible for you, but it's so good.
Is this? Can it be public knowledge, or is this something
I mean,
you're
it's
keeping
pretty
secret?
easy. You have to have so it's bread based, right? Because a lot of people do like a crescent roll or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is like a loaf of bread, but you have to get good bread. You can't get like the giant like bunny bread that's too soft.
No Wonder Bread.
No Wonder Bread. It's got to be dense. It's got to be that like heavy loaf where you pick it up like, dang, this got some heft to it.
Like the kind you get from the bakery at Publix.
Yeah, either the bakery or like I always get the Pepperidge Farm. The one that has the plastic inside the plastic.
Yeah, double plastic.
The double plastic. That's when it's like, ooh, this is a bougie bread. So you get that and you cube it up. You put it in your pan. It's a dozen eggs. It's 2 cups of half and half. Again, I told you this is not good for you.
But it is so good.
It's a pound of sausage. Sprinkled it. You kind of layer these 2 cups of cheese, and then 2/3 of like 2/3 of a stick of butter, and you put that on the top of it.
Put the whole stick in.
Let
That's
the
what I
whole,
would say.
and then you put that together, and you got to let it sit overnight because the bread has to just like soak up. Because you mix the eggs, the dozen eggs, and the half and half. You pour that over top. It soaks up into that bread overnight. Y'all, it's so good.
So then you cook it the next morning and serve it that day, and it's good.
And it's good,
So,
and it's so good the next day. It's so good the next day.
So in that situation, like the breakfast casserole had a sitting time before it was cooked.
Yes,
That's key.
it was like really coming together.
So do you cook it a full 24 hours before you're eating it, or?
No, so you let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then in the morning you bake it at like 350 for 45 minutes to an hour.
But it's already had
It's already been sitting.
It's good time.
It's had its good like sitting time to
Yeah.
really like congeal. That sounds gross. I don't like that word, but you know what I mean.
That sounds good. Congeal. We're gonna use it. I've never heard of that word before.
That's a legitimate word, unlike many of the things that get said on this podcast. So.
What about you, Matt? Like, so was your breakfast for dinner? Is that the last time you had brunch, or like?
I wouldn't consider that brunch. Like, I do think there's a time requirement on brunch. Like,
Once the sun's gone down, we're not brunching anymore. We're breakfast for dinner.
I don't even think it could be afternoon, right? Like, you can't eat like a 2:00 p.m.
It
brunch.
depends on when you
can
wake up.
Like brunch usually, like most, even like restaurants, there's like brunches from like 10 to 3. So like to
Really?
the afternoon, it's like you're getting close. You're really kind of cutting it close. You're that person who's like going into the restaurant at 9 o'clock when it closes at 10, or like 9:15, and they're like, dude, all right, we'll keep the kitchen open. So it's like when they want to change over to lunch or dinner and you're still ordering pancakes, we're like, all right.
I mean, I think it comes back to if you're waking up at 6 in the morning and eating breakfast at 2 o'clock, that's not brunch. But if you wake up at like 11 or 12 and you're eating at 2 or 3 o'clock, that's brunch.
No, that's a good argument there.
If you're waking up at 11 or 12, you need to wake up early. Like, you missed the
I
whole
agree.
AM.
I agree. But that's like, I think brunch can be somewhat relative.
Yes.
There's a scale there.
I agree.
I feel like the ideal brunch is between 9:30 and 11.
9:30 is still breakfast.
I feel like it's like 10. I think
Yeah, 10.
All right,
It's got to
10
start at 10.
10 to 11. All right, I can agree on that. But yeah, I haven't had any super memorable brunches lately, other than I'll say a nice budget brunch for you is we got it's eggs sous vide. It was like a jumbo box at Costco. Always good value at Costco. And it's like a scrambled egg kind of thing with, I don't know what type of cheese it is, but there's a pretty good kind of a creamy cheese in it, and bacon bits. Bacon's in there, Butch. But yeah, you stick it in the microwave like 45 seconds or something like that, and yeah, pops up. And I really would like to try it on a biscuit. I haven't done that yet, but egg sous vide, that was a pretty good winner here recently.
I love breakfast. Like, we'll go to Hero Donut, for lunch, and everybody will get like their chicken sandwich or their burger.
The
Their burgers are really good. But I'm like the person, I'm like, can I get the oatmeal, not oatmeal, but the yogurt granola bowl? I just love that thing. I'm like, it's so good. I don't know. Just breakfast foods make me feel good. They're like comfort food to me.
I love it.
So I was thinking about this. So brunch is a mix up of breakfast and lunch. But what percentage is breakfast versus what percentage is lunch?
Oh, it's like 90% breakfast.
Yeah, I think 97, because it's like if you get a ham and cheese sandwich, like you didn't eat brunch, like that's lunch.
Well, like there's like steak and eggs, which I've never been that kind of person. I don't want to steak that early. And I love steak. Like, I love steak. That's my like birthday dinner. I'm always like steak. But I can't eat steak that early. I gotta like sit up, like, I don't know. That's got to be a dinner for me.
Yeah. It's like I want a coffee with brunch too, right? Like you don't think, hey, I'll take a lunchtime coffee. I mean, maybe every once in a while, but yeah.
I drink coffee all the time. I drink caffeine all day. It's bad. So bad.
Yeah, I think brunch is really just a late breakfast. Is really what it is.
Yeah.
I can buy in that.
Yeah. But you know what I don't like? I don't like anything like the eggs Benedict. I'm like, you can keep your hollandaise sauce. That stuff is nasty to me.
So that's hilarious. So that's eggs Benedict is my wife's favorite.
Really? It's popular.
Probably her favorite food all around, but particularly for breakfast. And a couple of years ago, I decided I would make eggs Benedict, and I'm not much of a cook at all. I mean, grilled
Despite
cheese.
your last name.
Yeah.
Don't let the name for you.
Yeah. Grilled cheese is a general accomplishment for me, but I decided I would try eggs Benedict with homemade hollandaise sauce, which you can buy. Hollandaise is like by far the most complex part of eggs Benedict, and so you can buy just hollandaise sauce, but I'm a purist, so I decided to make my own. And I think my wife suffered through like 3 or 4 bites, but it was pretty bad, and it was a valiant effort, but I fell woefully short.
Yeah, that's one of those things. That's a big step out. I mean, it's a big attempt.
I
You went from
tried.
0 to 100 over here.
Literally.
But you gotta take some baby steps.
Yeah. Sometimes you miss. Sometimes you swing and miss.
Yeah, I definitely have.
What about the breakfast burrito? That's a nice
Burrito's good.
brunch item.
That is good. And hot take, I love the McDonald's breakfast burrito. I know that's like way down here on like the like quality level, but the McDonald's breakfast burrito is pretty fire.
I haven't been to McDonald's in like 10 years. So I'm going to have to go check out a breakfast burrito. I think
It's good, man. It's good.
the last breakfast food I ate from McDonald's was a McGriddle, which those are good. It's kind of like the pancake with syrup for the buns of your, with some meat in the middle.
Yeah.
But, I'll have to try one of those.
We don't have any McGriddles on your 5K training plan, Butch.
No.
So
I know,
Sounds good.
just, like that's the thing too, though, about like getting older and like trying to like be good. 'Cause, like, the older you get, like the harder it is to like eat healthy or like just stay in shape and stay whatever. And it's like you can't eat like you did when you were 20 something. And like we go somewhere, we go to a restaurant, we go to a McDonald's if we're like traveling, and like the young person in me wants the breakfast burrito, but then like I'm like, no, get the egg white delight. So it's just like, well, okay, we'll do this instead.
yeah, it's tough getting old, right? I mean, yeah, it's like all these habits that we had as kids. Yeah, I mean, I used to go to. You would get like 99-cent cheeseburgers. I mean, it was like, I got $6. I'll get 6 cheeseburgers, and not so much anymore.
And like recently, it's like not even just like like a health or like weight thing. It's like I feel like total garbage afterwards. I'm like, what is happening to my body? Like, what are we doing?
When did I get so sensitive to bread?
Dairy, golly, I have like me and dairy are just like are at odds lately. I'm like, no, I like dairy. So
Can't turn back the clock now.
I'm telling you, I hit 45 this year, y'all.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
Did you have like a?
Harder than 40? Is this like halfway? But I was like, that's halfway to 90. I don't know. It just felt different. It hit different. So.
I can feel that. I mean, 40 was like, I mean, it was big, but it wasn't big. But you start hitting 41 and on, and it's
like,
you feel it. It does feel different.
Yeah.
You're just in your 40s. Yeah, it's no longer a thing. I hit 40. I'm 6 months out, so I'm almost 40.
There. I'm keeping the seat warm for you. What's funny though is my daughter. She's like likes to tease me, and she was like, now you're like closer to 50 than you are 40. But I like to remind her because I had her so young. I'm like, well, don't forget, you turned 30 before I turned 50. So she's like, oh yeah.
It goes both ways.
Exactly. So it's all good.
Butch, what's our weekly what this week?
Our weekly what is what album do you have on repeat?
Mm.
Who
Beth,
wants
how
to go
about you?
first?
Okay, so I told you we started that I am on the precipice of some time off because I leave tomorrow to go to the Eras tour overseas.
Ooh.
Rock on.
Rock on. So obviously I have Taylor Swift on repeat, but also I'm actually equally, maybe, I don't know, maybe more, but definitely equally excited to see Paramore, who is opening for all the Eras shows in Europe. So I saw Paramore last year with my daughter when they were in Atlanta. And so to see them again is going to be pretty awesome. So I have both of them on like dual repeat right now, Taylor Swift and Paramore.
Nice.
That's awesome. I'm to call myself a Swiftie is probably a little bit too strong. I'm just a fan of world-class entertainers, right? And it's just incredible that people have the skill to entertain that many people and just to deliver over and over and over again. My nieces just went over to Europe to Eras tour. I think it was London where they saw, and it's just. That's incredible to put on a production where everybody's expectations are through the roof and they're just thrilled with their, very expensive trip to Europe, very expensive tickets. Yeah. And
crazy. The tickets over there are so much cheaper though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they don't allow resale, like where you can like scalp tickets the way you can here in the U.S. So everything's face value, and we actually got tickets. Okay, so funny story. My husband's a way bigger Swiftie than I.
That's going on the short right there. Yeah.
Amazing. And so he's the one who was actually like, "Do you want to go?" And he kind of like enticed me by saying like, Paramore's opening for them, and I was like, first of all, it's Europe. Yes, I want to go. I've never been to Europe. I'm ecstatic. And I was like, in second, like, it's Taylor Swift, like, regardless of how much of a Swiftie I was, I'm like, again, world-class entertainer. And Paramore's opening, so yes, I do want to go.
Nice.
But yeah, like, my daughter has a great, like, one of her best friends is from Europe. She's from the Ukraine. And so she had all these connections to get the like pre-sale codes when the Europe tickets went on sale. And so she was able to get us tickets dirt cheap. And so we're actually seeing her 2 nights in a row.
Oh!
Whoa!
It's ridiculous. But it's the first night, we basically just got like big time nosebleeds, which those were the best tickets she could get to like, when you're doing the thing. But then she told us, she was like, I've actually got another pre-sale code. I can get you some better tickets if you want. And I was like, okay. So we literally have 4 tickets to each night that cost way less than like 1 ticket would cost to go see her in New Orleans. It's stupid here, like how much the tickets are.
I agree.
So
I wonder, does ticket, or you buy them through Ticketmaster, or do they not have a
over there? There's something. It's like OE ticket something. I don't know, she transferred the tickets to us on this app, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like Ticketmaster is always up there in like most evil companies in the world, and it just fees galore. It's like, get rid of this racket.
I don't know which is worse, them or Airbnb. Don't even do that. I'm like,
What's your alternative to Airbnb? Which one are you going with?
I'm just a hotel girl. Like, I'll do a hotel, or I'll get like, some places just like have cabins or something like that. I'll get through that type of place. But those the Airbnbs, I'm like, first of all, I didn't come here to like clean your whole house for you. If you're gonna charge me a cleaning fee, why am I cleaning? I don't understand. It feels like that doesn't feel fair. Wait a minute. And so I'm a hotel girl. I'm like, oh, you want to make my bed and I can just leave it however I want when I'm checking out? Like, I don't have to like clean up and, spend 2 hours doing that before I head out. Okay, cool.
And if you don't want them to bother, you just put the little sign out there and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I did hear, it's like the most annoying thing to me is when you're going to like find something, whatever, you find, okay, $149 a night, you're like, okay, and you're like, all right, 2 nights, so whatever, there might be some taxes. And you go to check out, it's like $874. You're like, whoa. Like, what are these fees? Like,
it just frustrates me. It's so deceptive.
I think it's Australia. I was reading about. They actually have a national like country policy law that you have to present like the entirety of the price up front. So I think it's things like tickets for events and Airbnb or whatever the equivalent is there. I'm pretty sure you have to display it in the full-on price, because some people have found a hack where in the U.S. you could like access the Australian website through a VPN or something,
Nice.
get the fully loaded price. But
Because you need that. It's so because you waste so much time. You get all excited about something. You're like, "Ooh, what a deal!" Not.
not, yeah, it's lame. Butch, what you got on repeat?
All right, my album is Vintage Volume 2. It's a group named Shane and Shane. They're a group I started listening to back in college, like 2001, 2002 days. Back when it was all like just raw guitars. There wasn't a lot of production value. You know, they've become way more productionized over the time, which I can get behind. But this album specifically has, you know, all the songs that I sung when I was like 16 to 20-ish. So a lot of like good memories, and I've just been listening to it over and over again. Favorite song on there is that old DC Talk song called In the Light.
Nice.
It's great.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, so good. So been spinning that and enjoying it.
Love it.
It's so different with the Shane and Shane version. I love that one. Yeah.
How about you, Matt?
I've been listening to Forrest Frank. Anybody heard of him?
Nope.
Yeah, I know that one.
So he's what the youths are listening to, at least in my house. So he's a Christian rapper. His best song is called Up. And it's,
I have to check it out.
yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. You know, just kind of how it goes. It's a nice kind of lift me up, get your day going kind of thing. So
Keep going, Matt.
yeah, I don't want to infringe on any like copyrights. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off. But
I love it.
I'll have to check it out.
I used to like listening to Christian rap when I was running more. That was like really like Andy Mineo.
Yeah, he goes hard.
He goes pretty hard. It was pretty fun to listen to that, to run to.
my boys listened to Toby Mac a pretty good bit, and the other day we were swimming in the pool, and I put on the old album. I think it was like when he first separated from DC Talk, and it was Momentum, I think, and they were like, "Man, this is weird." I was like, "Man, this is the '90s. This was the scene back then."
Yeah,
you know?
it was. It was amazing.
Oh man.
90s.
Real quick, back to brunch. I have one more topic I want to get into. I think on this podcast we should create a new term. I'm debating what it should be, but there's got to be some word for between lunch and late night meal. So I've got two proposals. We've got Lupper or Linner. But I think
Lupper sounds, I don't know why, it just sounds like...
I know why. It sounds like leopards. Yeah.
all right, so we're going with Linner. I think
Linner.
I think there's just one day a year, because like we said, lunch, like nobody's getting all that excited about lunch, right? Like brunch is all about breakfast. Really, dinner is a lot more exciting than lunch. But Thanksgiving, I think that's the perfect day for Linner. You know, a big old 3 o'clock Linner.
Yes. I mean, we truly, like most of us probably eat Thanksgiving Linner, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It sounds weird. I don't know if we got enough momentum behind it quite yet, but we're going to keep trying.
we're gonna push forward.
Thanksgiving Linner.
Thanksgiving Linner.
Let's do it.
Will all of you commit to saying Thanksgiving Linner at least once this year?
100%.
I, Butch Mayhew, promised refer to it as Linner going forward.
Thanksgiving Linner.
I think that'd be fun, right? I mean, like, let's call it what it is. It's Linner. Like, hey, what time's Linner? You know, because you always have, like, what time's the meal? And
Yeah.
It's like,
Because
come on.
it's always, I feel like Thanksgiving is always like so stressful for whoever's cooking. I have had that role at times, and it's like they're trying to time everything, and if you ask, it's like, careful. Like, hey, what time's everything going to be ready? Like, when it's ready.
Like, you try to cook a turkey in the oven.
So, fun fact, y'all actually just brought me back. My Nana May, she used to celebrate Thanksgiving brunch. She wouldn't cook a turkey. She would cook breakfast. So she always cooked my favorite cinnamon rolls. So like homemade cinnamon rolls, let them rise. So we'd roll in about 10 o'clock. We'd eat around 10:30, and she'd have the homemade biscuits. So she'd just roll out the biscuits. They'd be real small and like really hard bottoms, but they're like perfect for like what is that, sausage and gravy.
Yeah.
So she'd make some of that. We have some eggs, cinnamon rolls. She'd get some apples and put some what are those little Red Hots in them, and like put them in the microwave, and they're like candied apples. It was so good. But man, thank you for reminding me. Talking about Thanksgiving Linner. Thanksgiving brunch exists too.
Yeah.
Some households. So
I think that's the way to go. It should be like a brunch and Linner. A little bit of late breakfast. Man, that's great.
It worked really well because she could get all of her stuff done. We got to hang out with this side of the family, and then we go see the other side of the family for Thanksgiving Linner.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
I love it. We have my in-laws always make breakfast for dinner for Christmas instead of having like a big Christmas dinner. Since you've kind of like just recently done the Thanksgiving thing, it's like kind of over that. So we do all the breakfast foods like cinnamon rolls and breakfast casserole.
French toast.
No French toast, but we do breakfast casserole.
That's fair.
And lots of fruit and I'm a cinnamon roll girl too. That's one thing I didn't mention that, but you put cinnamon on anything, and I'm like, yes.
Yes, please give me another.
Yes, I'll have it.
I can go. I mean, I like a nice bougie cinnamon roll as much as anybody, but I can go pretty cheap on the cinnamon rolls. I mean, those little like orange. What are the orange cover? This orangish. Orange icing. I don't know what the name of them is, but
they're just orange rolls. Yeah.
Yeah, orange rolls. Those
like
are
the
good.
Pillsbury you get. And you pop on. You put your own. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite gas station cinnamon roll?
Ooh. I mean, they sell Cinnabon at some gas stations at
They do?
Flying J. Is it Flying J or Pilot? One of those. They have the.
That's like the heated section.
Yeah.
Next to the hot dogs on the rollers.
You walk in, you're like, hello.
I'll tell you the best. I'll go ahead and just say the best. Big Texas cinnamon rolls.
Oh.
Those are the best gas station cinnamon rolls that are prepackaged.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and call it that.
Are they at Buc-ee's or like where are we
I
getting
don't know.
these?
They're just Big Texas.
Yeah.
That's the what you need to look for.
Okay, I've seen them as Big Texas. I've also seen them branded something else. I don't know if you've seen that. It's big. I don't want to say AZ. Big AZ roll.
I haven't. I mean, I haven't had a Big Texas in it's been probably 8 or 10 years. But they're good. If it's 10 o'clock at night and I need a little pick me up, some people might go for the sodas. I'm gonna go for a Big Texas, and that's gonna help me at least get me 45 minutes right until the sugar crash happens.
I'm going to Lonnie. I'm gonna go get a caffeine drink.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's coffee for me. I mean, I can drink cheap old gas station coffee just fine, but yeah cinnamon roll late at night.
It's good. I mean, it's so good. It's got the just go try one. Next time you're at the gas station, instead of just swiping your card, walk on in, go to the pastries, get you a Big Texas, and think of Butch.
I love it.
And Andy Haltiwanger. He's my cinnamon, Big Texas brother. That's what I would call him.
What about a pecan swirl? I mean,
those are good. Those are like the ones that came in that cheap little plastic thing. Yes, man.
You need like 3 of them to be good, and they're only good when you pull them apart and eat them.
You have to.
Like a fruit by the foot.
It's just like a fruit by the foot. Like it's like you have fond memories of eating them, and when you bite into it, you're like, man, how did I ever enjoy this flavor?
Yeah. The pecan swirls, like when you have them as an adult, you're like, these are pretty dry.
I haven't had one in years. Oh man, I gotta have one now.
Good. Yeah. But as a
Pecan
kid,
squirrels for the next episode.
it's like I not really recently, but years ago, I had a Star Crunch for the first time in like forever since I was a child, and I had to say, I was like, this is not very good. I like loved them as a kid. I thought they were the best thing ever. Like Star Crunch.
I mean, it's pretty much everything Little Debbie that we thought was amazing is actually really not good, except for the Christmas trees.
Christmas trees are pretty bomb, and I still like a Swiss cake roll. I gotta say, but those I also unroll.
Yeah. Yep.
See, I mean, we called her Aunt Debbie in my house because she was always there. But, I mean, I grew up on those fudge brownies. I could still eat those just anytime.
Cosmic brownies?
Yeah. When it's like,
I love that.
one time my wife had made brownies, and then, I don't know, somehow a fudge brownie ended up in our house. And I grabbed the fudge brownie, and she was none too pleased with me.
Rightfully so.
She's like, that brownie was made years ago. And I just made this one. Oh, man.
That's amazing.
But they package them so well. I mean, they just last forever.
It's like Twinkies.
Probably because of all the preservatives in them, but... You know.
Surely not. Surely not.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Any other brunch topics we got, or are we're moving towards the close here, Butch? I don't have any other brunch.
I don't think so. I mean, the biggest thing for me was establishing how late is too late to brunch. And I think we said 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Depending on when you wake up. So, yeah, I'm satisfied over here.
Yeah, I think
I
after,
brunch today, so I'm doubly satisfied.
There you go.
I think your post-noon brunch is pretty questionable, personally. But that's just me.
Well, it's not a Linner, so...
Yeah.
I do have some listener feedback.
Ooh, let's
so
hear it.
We're gonna pull up the email.
This can be
Actually
brutal,
got
Beth, so brace
Yeah,
yourself.
I got a couple things. This first one is from Mr. Matt Anderegg, and
Oh,
he
man.
actually sent a message in reply to the Yahtzee episode, but it didn't make it to our email address. So he's like, "Man, I've been listening and just waiting." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." But so
I just want to publicly apologize, Matt. Sorry, we've been really busy with all the listener feedback. Sorry we didn't get to that yet.
Just inundated.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
Matt said.
you're going to have to hire somebody to go through that, right?
Maybe you could help us with that, Beth. Yeah.
No,
Put together a job posting.
Someone.
Yeah, we can recruit for it. So Matt says, bridging the Dandy and Yahtzee episodes, the fake Dandy definitions reminded me of this board game Balderdash. We'd play with a family back in the day, which is a game presents rare and unusual words, and the player secretly submits definitions for the word, hoping the other players will believe their definition's the real one. He said, I can't speak to the newer versions in which the additional categories were added, but the original was good times.
Yeah,
And-
Balderdash was fun.
Yeah, great stuff. I actually found Balderdash at the thrift store, and I got a copy of it, and it's sitting over on the shelf. So I got all the cards. I got the old ones. So, Matt, you want to play some Balderdash? Let's do this.
Nice.
Yeah? You weren't talking to me.
We'll bring
yeah.
on Matt Anderegg, too.
Yeah,
Play some
sure.
Balderdash.
So when y'all were talking about that, like on that episode, y'all talked about that game Skulls. Is that the game we played at the
Yes.
first DDC? We were
Yes.
stuck in the airport for a while.
Yes.
Okay, I was
For,
like,
more than
wait,
likely. I mean, if there was
that
lots of
sounds
laughing,
familiar.
yes, it was that.
Okay, that's amazing.
Jacob messaged in. He said he's been enjoying our podcast. He asked for a sticker. I gave him a sticker. If anybody else wants a sticker, you just email us. howdy@funhawg.com. Beth, we'll get you a sticker.
I
I saw
still
you raise
have
your
your
hand.
Bee Hamster sticker on my old water bottle, so you know.
Living strong. If you want any other colors than that, I do have a few more in the drawer that are down there.
What's funny is it's on my water bottle that is now just a shrine to all my old stickers because I actually dropped it and broke it. But I loved the stickers so much that I was like, I'm not throwing it away. So it's just like
It's a trophy. That's what it is. It's
like
a trophy now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Love it. We also heard in from Jacob Harden. This was on the pineapple on pizza debate that we had. First off, I want to say that I really like your podcast. I've enjoyed listening to it. Second, I wanted to share my thoughts on pineapple as a pizza topping. I like pineapple and I like pizza, but I believe that they have no place on being together. I have tried pineapple pizza only once, But that one time was enough to convince me. I know many will disagree, but that is my opinion. Good job on the podcast, and I hope you continue to have as much fun as you're giving us. So thank you, Jacob. The same Jacob who asked for a sticker. So
Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza.
I know. Yeah, Jacob. You got to give it one more shot. I mean, just one more shot, like a good high quality, maybe like a mellow mushroom or something like that.
Mushroom's good. Okay, you know what the hot take too? You know what pizza I really love that has like great pineapple on pizza? It's not like the best pizza, but I just love it. It's Hungry Howie's. Remember Hungry Howie's?
I get behind Hungry Howie's.
Hungry Howie's.
I grew up on
so
that.
Good. I love it. Yeah. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. But they have the Hungry Hawaiian, and it has ham, pineapple, and pepperoni, which most of them don't put pepperoni on there. And that little pepperoni little sprinkle is pretty good.
So Jacob, go try Hungry Howie's.
Hungry Howie's.
Probably one of
Hungry
best.
Hawaiian. Good stuff right there.
Hungry Howie's, is it like a Birmingham joint? I'm not familiar with it.
They used to have one downtown. I don't think they do anymore, but they have one like where my dad lives in Florida.
I'll say in college, it was right down the street. It was $5 for a pizza carry out. So we had lots and lots of Hungry Howie's, and they were doing the the flavor on the crust way before Domino's.
Yeah,
and you could choose which flavor you want. It's not just
that
garlic.
Parmesan was so good.
Yeah,
the cheese
it is.
and the
So
Howie bread. Howie bread is good.
Yeah, but $5 for a pizza. I'm in college making nothing, and it was a lot. Me and my friends, we had a lot. I think one of my friends, they actually, put their whole wall was Hungry Howie like pizza boxes. They just started pinning them up the wall. It was great. So
those are like ugly yellow too.
It is, but it was the wall of fame or shame, depending on who you are. All right, got a little more. So this is Noah. This is Jacob's brother. He says he started listening to us. He was listening to the bacon episode. I wanted to weigh on pineapple pizza as well. Till recently, I was one of those pizza purists. I did not think pineapple belonged anywhere near pizza. However, I just had a Papa John's cheesy burger pizza the other night, and now love pickles on pizza. Pickles on pizza. Well, first off, Noah, pickles don't belong on pizza. That's Butch's opinion. You can believe what you want. He says, his words, not mine, it was seriously delicious. If I like pickles on pizza, how can I knock pineapples, which are long established topping? So, maybe people need to give another chance. Maybe I do. Maybe I need to get over my dislike of pickles. But
I hate pickles too. I think they have a really unique attribute though. It's difficult to throw away a pickle, right? Like I eat maybe 4 pickles a year would be my guess. But for some reason, when there's a pickle given to me, I feel the need to offer it to everyone because there could be a pickle lover at my table, and it's just like, but you get other foods and you just whatever you get like pasta salad and you just don't want to eat it or whatnot. You just don't eat it. But if you get a pickle,
you don't offer that to somebody.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you want my pasta salad? No. You're like, hey, I got a pickle. If I feel obligated to see if there's a pickle lover out there,
and probably at least half the time
they'll take it.
On it.
Yeah,
I'm a pickle lover, so like a lot of times I'll be like, yes, please.
Yeah.
So what is the name for that? Is that a pickle picker?
I don't know. And
let me pick your pickle.
Like I'm one of those people. I go to Nukes, and you guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's like the dill pickle, the spear.
Well, yeah.
No,
and they used to have that whole like table with stuff. Remember that?
Yeah, that was weird.
But you can't get that. You got to ask for them now. So I go up there to the front, and I'm the person. I'm like, "Can I have pickles?" Like, the little.
Oh, you like the little dill pickles?
Like well, they have like they just have like the slices of pickles, right. And they're the bread and butter pickles, which are kind of like sweet and tangy at the same time. They're so good.
So you probably would like this Papa John's cheesy burger
I would
pizza.
Definitely try it.
Yeah, give it a try before
you. It's a little weird, but
before you go to Europe. Or not.
Probably not, but I'm going to be as adventurous as I can be when I'm in Europe, too. I mean, like, I'm not a big adventurous eater usually, and there's some interesting food I've already been scoping out, so I'm going to try and be a little adventurous while I'm there.
Are you going to catch any Olympics while you're there?
No, because we're only gonna be in Vienna or Austria. Actually, we do spend one day in Munich, so we land in Munich, and then we're basically like circumventing Austria. We're spending 2 days in Vienna, going to Salzburg, Innsbruck, and so we're doing some mountains. We're doing the Sound of Music tour because, right? Like, why? How
Yeah.
could you not? So the hills are alive. So we're gonna just do the whole thing. Pretty
Awesome.
stoked.
That's an incredible trip.
Yeah, I'm very, very stoked about it.
Very nice. Give you a quick running update over here.
Nice.
I have been running a little bit. I think last time we ran, and it's been a 3-week span, so it's been a little longer. But I've been able to run at least once a week. I think the first time it was twice. Last week it was kind of like once and kind of at the end of the week. And this past week, I didn't officially run, but I did run while playing Ultimate Frisbee. I know that doesn't count, but I got my exercise in and movement and whatnot. But the last time I ran serious, I took the girls to the park, and they had their scooters. And I was a little proud because at the end they're like, "Dad, we're worn out," and I was wearing them out. I'm like, "Wow, that normally doesn't happen." So I think my stamina is a little more, but it's not like stamina from start to finish. You know, I can probably run about quarter of a mile, half a mile, and then walk a little bit and run kind of quarters after that. And but it's been pretty good. Shin splints are still there. Mr. Jonathan Leftwich, he actually encouraged me. He found this like little device on Amazon. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. I have the real thing. Look at this thing. But it's like a heel stretcher.
Yep.
And it kind of like stretches a lot of different things. But one of those is like the shin splints, to try to stretch those out a little better than I just can, with my finger kind of laying down. So, yeah, I'm trying that out, and I'm stretching those every day to see if that helps. We'll
If
see.
you freeze a water bottle too and roll it up and down your shin, that feels good. If you have
Freeze
shin
a water bottle.
Yeah, just like a cheapy,
Yeah, little
water
plastic
bottle.
one.
Yeah, a cheapy plastic one, and then you roll it. Feels good.
This is before or after? This is probably after.
After, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Have you picked a race?
I've not. I mean, I think what we've decided. Maybe we decided on this
Oh, you're gonna
podcast.
do
I
it?
can't
That's
remember. is
right.
We're gonna have our own
You
race.
host it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. You tell me
Yeah.
when, and I'll.
Beth, you're gonna show up.
I will totally run it with you. I love it.
There's gonna be like 2 races. There's gonna be like the race, and then there's gonna be like Butch's race.
I'll hold your toilet paper.
Nice, wonderful. That's all I need. That's all I
Run
need.
through it.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Let's
We'll get
go,
some.
man.
Yeah. So
Careful.
we have it
Running
some point.
becomes addictive. Like
Yeah.
it's like tattoos. You start it, and all of a sudden, you're like, where did these tattoos come from? Here, I got another tattoo.
I
Just
don't
like-
think I'm there yet. I need to just get through the first one, but I am. Things are progressing,
Yeah.
and I am looking forward to it cooling off at some point. Maybe in a month or two.
So hot.
Maybe
But-
we shoot for an October-ish race.
That's a great time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the running through the heat, right? Like your body's acclimating even more, right? Like you're putting it through a lot more adversity, so it'll pay off. Don't you
All right.
worry. Beth, are you a runner?
I have had periods of my life where I have been a runner. Currently, I'm more focused on I just mainly do CrossFit right now, but like I've run lots of 5Ks and 10Ks. I've done a couple of halves and one full. So like I told you, it gets addictive. Like I never thought I would run that far, and I had never been a runner. But a friend invited me like a long time ago to do a 5K, and I was like, I can't run a 5K. Can't even run like a half a mile without stopping. And I did the same thing, but I did kind of like a couch to 5K where it's like run, walk, run, walk, run, walk. And I did the first race and everybody was so nice. It was just like
Yeah.
the running community is just so encouraging and like just supportive. So there was this is showing my age a little bit because this is like before everything was online, but there was literally like a registration card in my race packet that you can mail in to register for another race. So I immediately like signed up for another one. As soon as I finished that one after I got my race packet, I was like, well, I want to do this again. So I started just having a race like always on the calendar. And it just kind of went, well, now I'm done doing 5Ks. Now maybe I can do a 10K. I've done all these 10Ks. Maybe I can do a half. Well, now I've done 2 halves. Maybe I can do a full. So it just like builds on itself. But then
Nice.
I did the one full one. I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean that's inspiring. It's inspiring. Thank you for
I don't want to
sharing.
do like an Iron Man or anything like that.
That so super similar. I did my first full. I don't know. It was a while back. It was Nashville. I think 2014. But I said I would never do another full after that, and then I went through like a fitness lull, and it just kind of came back one day, and it was like, okay, like I need to get back into it, and then once you've done it once, you're like, well, I could do it again,
Yeah.
So just kind of prove it to yourself.
There's part of me that would like to do it again. It's just I remember how much time I had to commit to it. And right now I'm like really into my CrossFit stuff. I have all these like CrossFit goals that I've made. So
Is there like a big event, or is it more
there's
just
little things. So like one of the things that's still elusive to me is I'm trying to get a bar muscle up, which is just like a real, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's just a pretty technical move. So I've been doing things. So like this year, my goal is to get up to be able to doing 10 strict pull-ups. I'm currently at 6. So, it's okay. And then the other thing, which I actually conquered this year, was to be able to walk on my hands. Sounds silly, but it's kind of fun. Like, this is what makes fitness fun to me. I'm like, that's just fun. So this year I made it to where like I can walk. Like there's a in our gym, there's like these tape that kind of mark 25 feet distance in our gym, and I was able to go tape to tape.
That's a long walk on your hands. Wow.
So finally met that goal. So kind of have like little fitness things that I want to check off. So, and I made the quarterfinals for the like CrossFit Open this year. That was the other thing.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, it's kind of like, I think part of it is, as you get older, like, it's like, you just feel like you have less time, which I know I have so much time, right? But still, hopefully, God willing. But you just kind of like start to think, well, gosh, if I'm going to like accomplish these things, I got to get going on it. So, it just makes me more motivated to just want to like be active and see what I'm capable of. So it's been fun.
I love it. Yeah, keep it going. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Beth, do you have any shout outs before we spin the wheel?
Okay, so I have a couple shout outs. I thought about this. One, okay, so this is going to take it back, but I'm shouting out Kim Bailey, who you both know. I just love her. To this day, I just love her because she is the reason that I got the job at Daxco, because she reached out to me. And I probably never would have applied. I think I was a little intimidated by Daxco. It was like way too cool for me. Like, surely I can't. But since she reached out to me, I was like, well, she reached out, so I guess I can.
She recruited you.
She recruited me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. And she got me the interview, which Matt was on. Matt was in my interview and helped me get hired on at Daxco. So big shout out to Kim, who... without her, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys. I've been introduced. So that's one of my shout outs. And then the other shout out I want to give is to my daughter's friend, Kate, who got us the tickets so we could go to see Taylor Swift this week. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having this amazing vacation. So, which I am just thrilled about. So those are my shout outs.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Making dreams come true. I love it.
Yeah.
I thought you said bacon dreams come true. That's where my brain is after brunch today.
I mean, it's both, right?
So, all right, let's spin the wheel. Here we go. We got the word up here. We actually have pickle. We actually do have
on
pickle
there.
up here.
Let's go.
Yeah, I figured you gotta. It's okay if it's things I don't like, right? Maybe I will like them, right? I mean, things change. All right, here we go. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just start it somewhere here in the middle. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Cone.
Cone.
Cone. This thing could go anywhere.
That's a lot of places you can go with that. You got traffic, you got ice cream. I mean, what? Cone heads?
You got all sorts of cones.
Cone. Who comes up with these words?
I'm pretty sure we do, Matt. We've got a shared notepad where we can add them and remove them.
I feel like every time I add a word, you remove it.
I will neither admit or deny that. You have some words on here.
Quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe they just haven't made it on the list. I do think what I've decided is we've talked a lot about foods. So, as we're not going to add new food words to the wheel. If there's a food word that gets hit on, we're going to roll with it, right? But we're gonna try to talk less about food for those
You
that
could just add pickle.
they want more fun and less food. So we're
Food
thinking
is
of you.
fun.
This is true.
Yeah.
I agree. But for we've talked a lot about food.
Yeah,
We'll mix it up.
We're talking about cones next week, so you should chime into that episode. We won't talk about food at all.
Except for ice cream cones.
Ice cream cones, man.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Famous cones. I mean, to me, that's immediately where my brain goes. I don't know.
It'll be fun. We'll have fun with it.
No, that's where it is.
Awesome. You got anything else before we outro it?
Hmm?
That's a wrap. Beth, thanks so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun having you on, and learned a lot about brunch and your brunch habits, and it was great having you as a guest.
Thank you for having me. This was super fun. Y'all are awesome.
Oh, we need your final assessment. Was this more fun than your other podcast appearance?
Yes, don't tell.
It's on the record.
Of course it was. You guys are my buds.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us. I'm Butch.
I'm Matt. Go forth and hog some fun.